I'm going to mute you, Jennifer. I'm going to mute you, Jennifer. That was a repeat. Okay, so Jennifer, can you take your screen off, please? Because it's coming on. I can see you, and I want this to be a clear video, and I can just edit the beginning out. Okay, I'll pin myself. Oh, that works, I think. I hope. Let's see. Okay, that will need some editing. But I got it. So good morning, everyone. Chandra Bliss here, and I'm here to film a slow flow class for you. A slow flow class is like an integration class where you get to do this quickly, right? And so I'm just going to flow from one set of directions to the next to the next. You can always pause, rewind to catch whatever you need to catch. If you have a question for your particular circumstance or you're unsure about something, you can always come into the community and ask me and clarify. Okay, so today, our marker pose is standing forward bend. And you can see past classes to see how all the benefits and the juicy bits about it. But I do want to reiterate here the contraindications. Okay, so first of all, if you have detached retina, hiatal hernia, glaucoma, you just ate a big meal, you have an active headache, I catch everything. Yeah, you don't want to do this. I'm not going to be kind for you. And we practice ahimsa or kindness in this school, okay, in this class. So also, and you can always do a substitute pose. Like I would just do a JP. You know JP really well, right? You can always substitute JP in. And the other thing is, and this is more about being comfortable almost, and always not hurting yourself as well. But if you have an active low back problem or sciatica, then you must make sure, you will hear me cue those words, but you must make sure that your knees are straight. Okay, it's very common to bend our knees in this pose and try to get our fingers to touch the floor, and we don't want to do that. And you can put your hands on a chair. You can put it on the back of the chair. You can put it, and I'll demonstrate that, or you can put your elbows even on blocks on the chair. All right, so do what you need to do to take care of yourself. All right, so with that, I am going to invite you to, this is based off of the assumption you've already done a little bit, of course, as always. You've already done a little bit of Shavasana and Ujjayi, so you're not starting cold. I'm always going to let you in your slow flow and integration classes take as much time as you need for that part of your process. Okay. All right. So I'll demonstrate, and let me come closer to demonstrate this. You're going to, because in case you haven't learned standing pose yet, we're going to put our feet in this position. This is what we do in what's called Tadasana or standing pose. The big toe ball joints are together or nearly together. The heels are slightly apart. The midlines of your feet are parallel at that point. So look, I was a little wide, so I brought my heel in just a little bit so my fingers could be parallel. I'm just measuring the middle part of my toe to the middle of my ankle and getting that line to be parallel. Okay. All right. So you're going to stand in Tadasana. I'm gonna establish that for a little bit. Okay, and then bring your hands with your arms straight to your knees, and your knees are bent, and your sit bones are going out behind you. You are going to let your head hang down, and then straighten your knees, and your torso will tip forward. You'll let your hands and arms go down. This is the point where if you have that active lower back pain or sciatica, you bring your hands to the chair. If you are not in that position, then you will just, with your experience with your body, you will just let your arms hang down. This is where people want to reach for the floor, see, and they bend their knees, but you'll bring your torso up, get your knees back, and let your arms and hands hang down. Your head and torso lean forward, everything hanging free with gravity. You're distributing the weight through both feet. As you lean a little extra weight in your heels. So you get that release of your spine. From your sit bones to your tailbone. And on up through your sacrum and waist. It might even soften or lengthen through your rib cage, neck, and head. While you continue with your breathing and letting your back and belly soften. Your torso lengthens. Gravity creates more space between your vertebrae. If you're in a chair, you'll feel a little less of this kind of tractioning possibly, but you might be feeling things more intensely through the rest of your body. See if you can just keep breathing through it. And then to come out, you're going to bend both knees. Put your hands on your knees again. Straighten your elbows. And then push your torso up until both legs are straight. Okay. And then we're going to come down to the floor. So you'll need your Shavasana stack. Okay, I'm going to turn so you can see me a little bit differently. Well, here, I'll do it in between the sides. You can see me both ways. We're going to do alternate leg pose as our tailbone release. So make sure you have your head support. Coming down the way we always do, leaning down on your side and then rolling up. Make sure the roll is half under your thigh and half under your calf. And then you'll bring both legs up. When you come up, your thighs are side by side, right? We don't have wide knees, all right? So even if you have to press your knees away to get your legs to come together, push them as far away as you need to get the legs to come together, and then come in as far as you can without splaying your legs, okay? This way your knees are lined up under your ears, which is what we want. So extend your left leg over the support and hold your right knee in the same position, meaning knee under ear. You're holding the knee end of the shin bone, not down on the shin bone further down, but up at the top. You can intertwine your fingers or hold in whatever's weight is easiest for you. And if your leg is further away and you need to hold behind the knee or the pant leg, you can do that as well. The point here is to let the knee feel so supported that it can soften, open, and release underneath the support of your hands. So your shoulders are resting back, your elbows are in by your side. And you can soften down through your belly, through your hip crease, all the way down to your tailbone. If you can notice, maybe you're not able to notice your tailbone, but if you can, try. You will never know until you try. Let's see if you're noticing any effects from this position. You may feel it, you may not. It's okay either way. And then bring your left leg up side by side. I'm going to have you hold both legs. See if you perceive any contrast here. Is there some changes on one side or the other? And if so, where is it and to what degree? And then you're going to bring your hands to your left knee and extend your right leg over the support. Keeping the knee lined up right under the left ear. It's not uncommon that as we go, sometimes things soften and the leg will start to veer out to the side or into the midline. And if you notice that, don't use your leg to move your leg. Use your arms and hands to move your leg. Okay, let your leg stay soft, supported, so it can actually let go from the inside. If you're using the muscles, they can't soften. Let your shoulders rest back. Of course, your elbows are in by your side as much as they go. Sometimes, you know, people's bodies are different. So whatever by your side is for you today, just not purposely holding them out, right? And then seeing if you can soften down through your belly into your hip crease. As the weight of your hands and arms, as you hold your knee, it translates down your thigh bone. It presses into the pelvis, out through the sit bones. You might notice some changes across the sit bones. And again, or not, there's no must experience in any pose. Simply commonalities. Okay, so this is our tailbone release. So I'm going to bring my knee up. I will take, in the next pose, I'm going to take the roll off the stack. I'm placing my feet onto the stack now, the soles of my feet, and I can't press towards you, okay? So I press my stack a little further away, but you can scooch yourself away from your stack to get the soles of your feet on there. Just enough. You don't want to be reaching too far, just enough to let the soles of the feet come on. And then you can tilt your stack to let the stack meet the angle of your feet. So if your toes are floating up and your heels are in the ground, you can tilt the stack. And then with your feet side by side, you're going to let the knees go out to the side and the soles of the feet come together. Your hands are either palms on your belly, or you can come down into the Shavasana angle with your palms up, hands about a handprint away from your hips. If you are uncomfortable in this position, that means that you need more blankets. So you may need to roll over and come up and put another blanket. We typically don't go more than 4. But also, if you are super comfortable, you feel it's even possible if you're maybe even falling out of the pose, 2 things can happen. You can either maybe pull a blanket out and see if you can keep your low spine on the floor. The main thing is the low spine needs support. So if you're arched, you need more blankets, okay? If your back is staying down and this feels super easy to you, you can try pulling some blankets out, as long as the arc of your, or the low part of your back is on the floor and supported. The other thing is, if you're falling out of the pose, sometimes what people need is to come out and put some rolls and, you know, build a little stack along the side of your knees to come out to support your knees. Okay, like so. And seeing if you can soften just a little bit more while you're here. Any tight spot that you feel. Could you bring your awareness there and soften just a little bit more? And then to come out, you'll use your hands one at a time to bring each knee up. You'll hold your knees. We're going to roll to the side. Press up with your hands and arms. And we're going to do a lunge. So get your blocks. And square off on all fours. With your wrist approximately under your shoulders and your knees approximately under your hips. So that means there's a little bit of space between your knees, okay? Our hips are wider than our knees can come together. So we want to bring our knees a little wider to match underneath our knees, okay? All right, so we're going to lean to the right and bring the left foot forward and through. And you're going to press into your hand, bring your fingers to your belly button, go down an inch and to the left an inch. And you're going to find this low left belly. And if you're really supported on your right side of your hand, that belly will be soft and you can pull your belly sideways onto your thigh. And then you can slide your hand underneath the chest until the palm is resting on the front low ribs. You're going to press your palm into the ribs, lift and lengthen toward your knee. Lower your hand, lower your head all the way. Don't hold on, or I should say, don't hold back, right? Really let your neck and head lean all the way down. And then you'll shift forward until you have, you don't go any more further than your belly and rib cage can stay aligned. So you'll go as far forward as that. Then you'll bring your hands and blocks forward and then scooch your foot. And what we're looking for here, you see, I just had to rearrange. I went too far forward with my hands and blocks. So I want to bring my wrist under my shoulders and I want to get my ankle under my knee. And that's forward and backward and side to side. It's both. We want the shins and the arms to be perpendicular to the floor. Let your shoulder blades come toward one another. Slide them down toward your waist. Let your neck and head drape down. Lean down, totally surrender toward the floor. As you start releasing, you may find you can surrender down to your bones. Leaning your bones into the floor and the ground and the blocks. The muscles are soft and the bones are supporting you. And then press back with your arms and bring your knee back down to the floor. And then we'll switch and do the other side. Knees approximately under your hips, wrist under your shoulders. So this time we'll lean left and bring the right foot forward and through. Get real solid in that left arm. That's the support you need for the belly to be soft. Okay, as you reach in and find your belly button, go down into the right an inch. You have a claw shape with your hand. You're going to press through the belly tissue and pull it sideways on your thigh. Bring your palm underneath your chest, and you're going to press your palm into the front low ribs under your chest, lift and lengthen toward your knee, and then lower your hand down again and lower your head. And then shift forward. Hey, if you go slow and you pay attention, you'll feel if your belly and chest want to slide out of that position. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure you only go so far as you can maintain the alignments. Then you'll rearrange your hands and blocks to get your wrists under your shoulders and scoot your foot to get your ankle under your knee. So your arms and shins are perpendicular. The front shin is perpendicular, and you can lean into your bones. Leaning, instead of holding back, which is what the muscles do, hold back, hold up, they're just holding all the time. If we get the bones in a efficient alignment, the bones will hold us and the muscles will let go. So bring your shoulder blades together, slide them down towards your waist. Couple more breaths here. And then press back. And we're going to do what's called hero pose. And we're adding seated side stretch onto it. And there's another slow flow integration class in your library that goes through this pose. And I like to put it in when I'm running out of time. I don't have a lot of time, but I need to get a lot of release in a short period of time. So hero pose, which is when you cross knees, right? We've done that on our back. We do it in a seated position as well. And so we're adding seated side stretch to a seated hero pose, okay? Or you'll hear me call it cross knee pose, all right? So we need to rearrange our blankets for a seated platform. This is a pose, by the way, if you have, so seated platform means we're doing folds, just as a reminder, okay? This can be a pose, it's a blanket hog. So if you really like this pose and you find you're someone who needs more release, then you can get on the number of blankets you have. This would be an excellent reason for, excuse me, frog in my throat, an excellent reason to order more blankets, okay? If you don't have enough blankets, just get on, what I'm gonna have you substitute is just seated side stretch, okay? You don't have to add the Virasana in. So that's the substitute here, seated side stretch, okay? So seated side stretch though has the wide side of the folds going forward. Cross knee pose or hero pose has the short side going forward, all right? You're going to need to have your blocks nearby. You will need a short. You will need a short little Shavasana stack. So, well, it depends. Might not be short. If you're someone who needs a lot more blankets for this pose, because we're the higher up we have to sit, the get you see this a little better. The higher up this is going to need to be to support our knees. Okay, so I'm making a short Shavasana stack for myself because I'm going to see if three on my seated stack is good enough. So The thing you need to make sure you do is that your Shavasana stack for your knee is going to be shorter than the buttocks that you're sitting on. And you can have, if you have enough blankets for under your buttocks, if you have extra, you can have the rounded edge of a wedge, okay? But we're going to do some litmus tests here to see if we're on the right size stack. And do not sacrifice, you will always sacrifice a wedge for more blankets under your buttock, okay? All right. So, I'm gonna move this aside so you can see what's going on behind my toes, okay? Or behind the blanket. All right, so I have my feet side by side. Imagine this is, I'm only moving this so you can see, okay? This would normally be here. But what I'm doing is I'm gonna bring my left hand, come behind my left ankle to the front of my right ankle. And I kind of move this foot out of the way because I'm gonna thread the needle. I pull my right foot between the stack and my left foot. Okay, until, here's my belly button, until my knee, the middle of my knee is lining up with my belly button. And you can see I'm not there. You can see this finger, right? So I'm not there. So I'm going to use both hands to draw my knee through a little bit more until it's completely lined up. This is essential. Do not stop short. This is where I see people stop short all the time. It's not going to be the same. Okay? You must help the leg go until it gets over. All right, so from here, look, this is going to be too high, I can tell already. So I'm going to pull this down and, oops, that's not enough. I want to feel that my knee is completely supported here. Okay, this is why we needed this like Shavasana style stack in front. Okay. From here, I'm going to lift my other leg up. See how I helped it? I helped stack my knee. The top knee is on top of my bottom knee. Okay, and now both knee, because my bottom knee is set up with lined up with my belly button, so is my top knee. Now, some of you, like, if I do this, I can still pretty much maintain it. But look, you can have your foot all the way forward in order to get these knees to stack. Okay, but if you can bring it back some, bring it back some. Now, what we're looking for is that one of your thigh bones is parallel to the floor. All right, look down and see, is the top or the bottom one of them? Right? If you are knees high, you're going to pull blankets out. So if, for example, knees are high and this is your hips, we're going to pull blankets out to let the knees come down because the knee must be lower than the hips, at least a little. Okay, well, one of them is, sorry. Let me clarify, one of the thighs is we need to bring down enough so one of the thighs is parallel to the floor. Okay. If your knees are low, which is kind of common, so here's the knees and here's your pelvis, then we need to create more blankets right underneath to get the knee, right? So put something underneath your knee to bring it up so the thighs are parallel. Okay. All right. From here, so I have my left knee on top. I'm going to bring my left hand on top, bring my right hand on top of that. This is the mudra. So if you were doing this pose all by itself, this would be it. It's a sacral release. But we're going to add seated side stretch. So you have your blocks to the side. You can place them anywhere you want. Figure out which height. Maybe you need both blocks. The higher up your stack is, the more likely you need more blocks too. Okay. So bring your arm out to the other arm out to the side from your shoulder. You will rotate your palm forward, rotate your palm up, bring your arm up toward your head. You're trying to keep your arm in alignment with your torso. So maybe you don't go as far. Maybe you stop here. Okay, wherever it is for you. Inhale, exhale. You're going to lengthen. You can see my arm. You might not see my hand, but you can see my arm is lengthening towards the upper corner of the room. I'm going to mound my lower shoulder up and let my head, I'm kind of already there, but let my head rest onto it. Shoulder goes up, head goes down. Inhale again, exhale, and bend the lower elbow. So we just added seated side stretch, which is a waist and rib cage pose. So we have sacrum, waist, and rib cage all at once. Make sure you're not collapsing forward, okay? Keep your torso up, your torso facing forward. If your, oh, it's happening to me. If your upper arm, I'm exaggerating now, starts to bend like a ballerina, just use your arm muscles and straighten your arm and lengthen through your fingertips, okay? If you focus on lengthening through the fingertips, you will get your arm to straighten. And then get your arm to rotate out and come back to the mudra, left hand on top, right hand on top of that. And then you can lift your foot off and bring the soles of your feet to the floor again. So bring the blocks over to the other side as well. Now, no, you may not have the same setup from left to right. You use your body differently. So you might be tighter on one side in any particular pose. So if we go through all the alignments and you find that your knees are high, your knees are low, you want to come up and adjust that for this side. Okay, so bring your right hand out to the side. You're going to come behind the right ankle to the front of the left ankle. And I'm going to move my right foot a little bit so I can thread the needle. I'm going to pull my left foot in between my right foot and the stack I'm sitting on. Find the belly button. Find the middle of your knee. If that's not lined up, and you can see for me it is not, I'm going to keep pulling and keep pulling my leg through until the two line up. And as long as I've done this, I still check myself because it's not necessarily a position that your body wants to go into right now, right? So once it is lined up, you're going to pull the Shavasana stack underneath your knee. So it must have support. It has to lean in. If you don't have support, it's like not having the foundation to a house, okay? So keep working with it until you've got that. And then take your other leg and bring it on top, lining up your knee on top with the knee on the bottom. You can move your foot wherever you want, but it must, if I go so far back, look, I'm not lined up anymore. So I'm gonna bring my foot forward so I can line up and stack my knees. Bring your right hand on top, bring your left hand on top of that. Make sure one of your thigh bones is parallel. And look, I could feel, like while one parallel to the floor, excuse me, I could literally feel one of I felt like I was listing to the side. So on this side, I'm tighter somewhere. So it's like making me go like this. I'm exaggerating, but it's making me arc over the side from the sit bone up through my torso. So I'm going to do this again because I had to put another blanket underneath. So once you put another blanket underneath your buttocks, you're probably going to need to make your knee support higher as well. Okay. All right. So then you're going to bring your hand to the block on the right side. Yeah, that feels better. You just double check. Does that feel better? Feel more balanced? Yeah, you do. Okay, so bring my hand to the block. I'm going to bring my arm out to the side from my shoulder. I'm going to rotate my palm forward and then up towards the ceiling. I'll bring my arm up towards my head. And then I'm going to make sure my arm is straight. Okay. I'm going to lengthen through my, inhale, exhale, and lengthen through my fingertips. Then I'm going to mound my shoulder up and let my head rest onto it. Find the place where my hand feels like it needs to be. And scooch it around. Inhale again, and on the exhale, I'm going to bend my lower elbow. There must be at least a slight bend in the lower elbow, and your upper arm must be straight. No ballerina arms up there. That's the common place people start to fall out of the pose a bit. So if you end up looking like this or some version of this bent elbow, you're going to straighten your arm and lengthen through your fingertips. Couple more breaths here. Keep lengthening, keep breathing. And you might find you'll change in real time. You can adjust. Maybe, look, you can see my whole arm now because I got enough opening that I can come down a little further inside the ankles. All right, so then rotate your upper arm up and out. Come back to the mudra, right hand on top of your knee, left hand on top of that. And look, my fingers are stacked. I'm not going like across my hands. I'm going on top of my hands like a sandwich. Okay, and then lift your leg out. We use our spine for everything all the time, but I want you to use your arms to lift your leg out. Help that opening maintaining, okay? All right, so now we have done a full pass of the spine. We got into the sacrum twice. We got into the waist a couple times as well. So now it's time to come back to our marker pose. So if you needed the chair, get the chair. We're going to remember the angle of the feet is like Tadasana angle. So the big toe ball joints are together, the heels slightly apart. It's slightly pigeon-toed. If you're not used to it, it feels funky. But if you are used to it, you don't want to stand any other way because it feels so good. Right, so we're going to compare, right? We compared this experience with the first experience. So as you stand here in Tadasana, you're going to then bring your hands down. You bring your hands down to your straight elbows, hands down on your knees as you extend your sit bone out behind you. And so if you're someone, remember, who, if you have those contraindications, do not come back and do this again. You're going to do your substitute pose of JP. Okay, if you do have the sore low back or sciatica, you can still do this, but you're going to bring your hands to the chair. Okay, otherwise, everyone else, I'm going to have you straighten your knees and your torso will tip forward. If you are someone who, well, this is really anyone, to be honest, if you're bending your knees, right? You just straighten your knees, bring your torso up and straighten your knees. If you have that low back and sciatica issue, you really must align with that direction, okay? Get your knees straight. It's not an ego thing to get your hands on the floor. They may touch the floor, it's fine. They may not, it's totally fine. Okay, so distribute the weight through both feet and leave a little extra weight in your heels for extra release of your spine. From your tailbone to your sit bone and on up through your sacrum and waist area. It might even soften or lengthen through your rib cage, neck, or head. As you continue breathing, don't hold your breath. In and out, and letting your back and belly soften. Your torso lengthens as gravity creates more space between your vertebrae. Okay, now bend your knees, put your hands on your knees, straighten your elbows as you push your torso up with your head coming up last. All right, so what was your experience? What was different from the first time to the last time? That's what we're here to notice. because when you release your spine, it creates changes in your whole body. So put below, put in the community, what did you notice? Put it on your shift sheet, right? I went from here, from A, B, C to X, Y, Z. And let your body and your mind have the experience of the change, both sides. It will literally move you faster through this process. Okay. From here, I invite you to finish out in Shavasana. You could also add on if you wanted to do add on. You could do a lunge and a JP. But otherwise, if you're complete today and you don't have as much time, set up your Shavasana stack again and let your body integrate through spaciousness. You just sent a lot of information. All those poses were like all this new information. And if we let the body have space, it will groove that information. It'll find the spaces and places for it to be, for the information to be. Okay, with that, I wish you namaste and a beautiful day. See you next time.